Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the SIL Legal Lounge podcast, Let's Talk Law, a show where we talk about law and policy in a frank and easy to understand manner so that everyone can end up learning something new. My name is Nida Tareen, and I am the principal and co founder of School of International Law. Our topic for today is one of growing importance and popularity in both the legal circles as well as the legal practice, ADR, or in other words, alternative dispute resolution. We will be focusing particularly towards mediation, and my guest for today is one of the pioneer members in the movement of ADR in Pakistan in particular. We have with us today Ms. Mehak Zaraq Bari, who is a leading family and workplace mediator, conflict resolution specialist, and educator in Pakistan. She is also amongst the few formally trained mediators who have had extensive training in both civil and commercial, as well as family mediation, negotiation, as well as psychotherapy. She is also the founder of ADRI, which is ADR Initiative, and MZB Conflict Management. Both platforms are dedicated to mainstreaming mediation, strengthening ADR frameworks, and expanding access to justice. Assalamu alaikum, Mehak. How are you?
Walaikum Salam. I'm doing very well, Nida. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much for joining us today. And it's
Thank you
great
for
to have
having
you
me.
here because normally the guests that I call over so far for the podcast, they have either been my students at some point, most of them. But this is the first time that I have somebody here who I've been a student of. So I recently took a course as well with Mehak. So I'm here with my teacher today. So good to have you here. So, Mehak, we'll start with the very basic question, which comes to everybody's mind. What exactly is ADR? What exactly is mediation?
All right. So ADR is alternative dispute resolution, as you already said, right? ADR basically ये है कि वो किसी चीज का ऑल्टरनेटिव है. किस चीज का? वो लिटिगेशन का ऑल्टरनेटिव है. So generally people when they have a dispute of a legal nature वो जाते हैं कोर्ट, वो लिटिगेशन में चले जाते हैं. However, we already know कि कोर्ट का जो केसेस का बैकलॉग है वो कितना ज्यादा है. We already know that it costs a lot of time, it costs a lot of money, and it is very emotionally draining as well to go to the courts all the time, and there are delays.
Yeah.
It can be because of case management, or it can also be because of lawyer tactics. So people now are preferring to go towards alternate dispute resolution, ADR.
Okay.
In the UK, they are even, not using the word alternative anymore. They're saying it's a negotiated dispute resolution because they want कि it becomes the norm. So ADR के नीचे कुछ different तरीके हैं कि बगैर litigation में जाए आप अपना dispute के साथ resolve कर सकते हैं. You have mediation, you have arbitration. सबसे जो informal है that is negotiation. You also have early neutral evaluation. So these are some of the basic तरीके जो आप ADR use कर सकते हैं. The different procedures, they have different pros and cons. जब आप mediation की बात करते हैं, तो mediation is a voluntary process where a third neutral party assists the two parties to reach a mutually beneficial settlement or agreement. All right? सो इधर जो मीडिएटर होता है वो एक थर्ड पार्टी होता है जो दूसरी पार्टीज के साथ बिल्कुल न्यूट्रल होता है, उनसे कोई वो नहीं करता, फेवरेटिज्म नहीं करता, और उनको असिस्ट करता है टू गेट टू a solution that both of them can live with.
So, a common ground, basically.
Yes, a common ground. It is very creative as well because जो आपको solutions कोर्ट नहीं दे सकता, जो remedies कोर्ट नहीं दे सकता, कोर्ट cannot get you an apology. Mediation can. Mediation helps के जो parties हैं उनकी communication बेहतर हो, and sometimes parties also when they're so emotional and they're in so much stress, it's the first time they're talking to a stakeholder जिसका कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है उनकी जिंदगी के साथ या केस के साथ. They are much more open, and when they talk to the mediator they also understand more what they want themselves.
Acha, so
So
one thing, Meg, which you pointed out, कि you said कि this is a voluntary arrangement, right? Parties have to agree to, they should volunteer to actually come forth towards mediation. How common has that been in your experience? Do parties actually want to resolve their disputes through mediation, or do they prefer the courts?
All right. So when we're looking at civil commercial mediation, there are two aspects of this. Or when we're also looking, fine, let's talk about civil commercial. So when we're looking at civil commercial mediation, right? Most businesses don't want to go into litigation. Most businesses, or most even, we were working with USAID on and Asia Foundation on trade dispute, TDRO, trade dispute regulations that were going to come about. Then Trump came and USAID बंद हो गया. But that was because हमारे यहाँ foreign investment इसलिए नहीं आती क्योंकि हम litigation वो हमारी believe ही नहीं करते legal system में. So there are a lot of businesses that want to resolve, and you have chamber of commerce वगैरह, वो उधर जाके industry experts को किसी उनके chairman को बिठा के they resolve it more now. They don't want to go through litigation because someone's business relationships खराब होते हैं, आपका business रुक भी जाता है. What if you only have one supplier?
Yeah.
आप या if you have a company जिसके साथ आपके 4 contracts हैं और उसमें सिर्फ एक से आपको कोई dispute है, so they rather keep the relationship rather than destroying it by going to litigation.
All
And
right.
yeah.
तो पाकिस्तान में जनरली आप जब ये मीडिएशन देखते हैं, बिकॉज वी नो दैट इट इज, आई मीन इट हैज गेन्ड अ लॉट ऑफ पॉपुलैरिटी ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड, and in just the last couple of years I have personally also seen that we hear a lot more about ADR, about mediation here in Pakistan as well. So what exactly do you think, what would be the key challenges that you have, for instance, faced as regards ADR and mediation in Pakistan?
All right. So over the last decade, the practice of mediation in Pakistan, it has shifted from being relatively informal and being in the background to being much more formalized and institutionalized. And it is being widely right now being promoted by different institutions. The courts, Justice Jawad Hassan, they're also, endorsing it. They started court and ex mediation as well. They right now are talking about mandatory mediation as well. Moreover, the laws have come about that they want accredited trainings as well. So they're, recognizing IMI, CEDAR, CMC, that that the mediators should be accredited. Now, the challenges that are coming about in mediation are structural, cultural, and somewhat practical as well. The first one is lack of awareness. So, for example, in family mediation, most of the people who think कि family mediation में अगर आप जाओगे तो हमारी सुलह सफाई होएगी, reconciliation होगी. But that is not family mediation. Family mediation means you can still get divorced with dignity. You can still, co-parent. You can make parenting plans. So there's a lack of awareness that people don't know, and their lawyers don't tell them that you have mediation as an option as well. So that's the first problem, that we have a lack of awareness. The second problem is, and now it is changing, that lawyers were very resistant to mediation. If you
Okay.
look 10 years back, I think someone told us a incident that in Karachi, when someone started a mediation center, usko aag laga di gayi thi.
But why is that?
So,
Why were they so resistant, in your opinion?
because again, lack of awareness. They thought that, it is something that is going to take over their uh, rosy roti, that they're
But aren't lawyers also mediators?
now they are, now they're learning, now it is becoming a part of the curriculum. So I think last year Punjab University for the first time introduced ADR as a subject, but it has been so many years. There is no formal training of ADR in Pakistan before these few years, right?
Mhm.
In your LLBs, University of London introduced it 3 years ago, 4 years ago, then suspended it for 3 years, and now they have
Now they've
introduced it
reintroduced
again.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So for years and years, Punjab University did not provide it. Our transnational education systems, they did not, provide it as well. So all the lawyers that were coming out, they did not know about ADR. They did not know that this was an option for them as well. But now, because of the cultural shift, the institutional shifts being endorsed by judges, and us private practitioners as well, doing advocacy campaigns, going to different schools, it is now changing.
All right. So,
Yeah.
what would be now like steps forward? What do you exactly, what is your vision? How do you think ADR, how do you think mediation, how is it going to sort of progress or grow, or how is it going to develop further within the Pakistani legal circle?
All right. So how we started the ADR initiative, and we brought in international trainings for the first time in Pakistan for private citizens. It was not for judges, it was not for government, it was open to everyone. We
By
believe that,
everyone, what do you mean? Non-lawyers as well.
yes, we train
Okay.
non-lawyers.
Well, that is
Uh,
something which a lot of people don't understand. They don't know. Okay, mediation is something which can be done by people who are not lawyers. It's not something
yes,
which is restricted to legal professionals only. So if you have, let's suppose, a bachelor's, a master's in any other field of social sciences or anything for that matter, you can be a mediator. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay.
One of our batch, a gentleman from Karachi who was an accountant, he traveled to Lahore to do the mediation training with us in person.
Okay.
Uh, we've had maritime captains of ships do training with us. We have people who work in insurance in the UK. They have also done training with us. We have HR, human resource managers who do the trainings with us. We also have life coaches, psychologists. So there are people from different walks of life. Yes, majority are lawyers, majority are law students, retired judges. But yes, there is a now awareness, and there are people who are non-lawyers who are doing it.
So, point is that everybody needs to resolve conflicts. Nobody wants
Yes.
to stay in a situation where a dispute is, constantly there. That is why mediation is something which is open for everyone. And like you said, you've had accountants and people from the services, who have wanted to learn this as well, because obviously this is something that everyone can use within their workspace.
As we were discussing that what are the steps forward, so I was telling you that we at ADR initiative, we brought the international standards to Pakistan. We brought CMC, we brought IMI through different international organizations. Now we are also IMI accredited ourselves. We want that, not just a select few, not just lawyers, other professions as well, and not just sitting in big cities, not just Lahore, Islamabad, Karachi. We want, like in the last batch, I had people from Balochistan. am having students from these tribal areas who are heads of panchayats as well. We are the first who have introduced internationally accredited trainings online, so it is accessible to everyone, and in 5 languages: English, Urdu, Pashto, Sindhi, and Punjabi.
This is
That means
ADRI, your ADR
ADR
initiative.
initiative, yes. We have done that. Why? क्योंकि हम चाहते हैं कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों के पास ये skill set हो. Because if we are looking at countries like the UK, USA, they teach their children in middle school, in grade 5, all of this, by the way. It's called peer mediation. I'm also in talks right now with schools to introduce peer mediation, so these students, these children from a very young age have the skill set to, emotionally regulate themselves and resolve the issues. Moreover, this year, I think we are going to 13 different law colleges as well to do foundation mediation training to supplement already if they are studying ADR as well. So they get more of a practical point of view that what mediation actually is and how it is practiced. And I think the steps forward that I personally want to take are that, there should be more mainstream introduction of family mediation and workplace mediation. The funny thing is, in workplace mediation, because we have organizational psychologists,
Yeah.
it is already a part. And a lot of startups, want workplace mediation. They want their HR trained. But I want to see this at like a, like a bigger scale as well. Not just the new Gen Z startups who want to do this, but at another scale as well. Like we should have a culture of mediation in workplaces as well. Furthermore, what the shift right now is looking like globally is mandatory mediation, because we are looking at the UK as well. The UK has introduced mandatory mediation for small claims less than £10,000. They
So
have
I'm so sorry to cut you. Mandatory mediation का मतलब है कि they don't go to court, they have to resolve it through mediation.
no, they have to try mediation. They don't
Okay.
have to resolve it through mediation. So mandatory mediation is that you have to take this extra step before you can go to litigation.
Okay.
So there was a huge debate for a couple of years कि ये right of a fair trial को infringe करता है. But now the UK courts have said that no, it does not infringe it, because आपको access to courts तो नहीं खत्म कर रहे. It's just another step, and it is proportional because they want their caseload to be less and their cost to be less. Also, they're putting cost sanctions on the parties, even if they're winning the case. But if they did not, consider mediation, उनके ऊपर cost sanctions डाल रहे हैं. ये जो चीज़ है अभी तक मैंने पाकिस्तान में आई हैवंट सीन कि वो कॉस्ट सैंक्शन डाल रहे हैं, बट जो जुडिशियल मूवमेंट टूवर्ड्स राइट नाउ है वो है कि वो कह रहे हैं कि पहले आप मीडिएशन करके आए. ठीक है. सो
मतलब कोशिश करें कि आप इसको आउट ऑफ कोर्ट रिजॉल्व करें.
यस. And so I'm looking, the shift right now is coming towards mandatory mediation, more institutionalized ADR practices, more regulations that are coming in. So these are the new updates that I'm thinking that are going to be coming in the next couple of years.
Okay, so Meg, a lot of law students are also going to be watching this episode. Primarily, law students are going to be watching this, or young lawyers. So, what advice would you have for them? How should they approach ADR? Because, like you said, कि अब जाकर it has been introduced as one of the subjects which they can study. हो सकता है अब उन्होंने ना पढ़ा हो, but moving forward, what advice would you have for them?
Take every opportunity you have when it comes to ADR and learn about it. Because I understand, like जिस University of London का course है वो आपको ADR पढ़ाते हैं. They teach you the theoretical parts of it,
Yeah.
right? So domestic arbitration and international arbitration are different. Learn international arbitration from your University of London courses, but also learn about domestic arbitration as well. I would also suggest that they should do mediation की जो trainings हैं, जो practical trainings हैं, so they understand how mediation actually works. Furthermore, don't think that कि हमने सिर्फ ADR करना है या हमने सिर्फ litigation करनी है. साथ लेके चलो, because you as a lawyer should have all the tools under your belt in order to advise your client. So when you give your client more options, they will understand as well that हमारे जो कंज्यूमर है दे आर नॉट स्टूपिड. दे नो कि अगर वकील कह रहा होता है कि नहीं नहीं मैं केस जीत जाऊंगा चलो लिटिगेशन में जाएं, दे फील नाउ कि ये सिर्फ अपनी फीस लेने के लिए कह रहा है. बट इफ यू आर गिविंग देम डिफरेंट ऑप्शंस एंड यू आर एडवाइजिंग देम, so it gives the client more trust in the lawyer as well, that they are giving us different options. Because students and lawyers need to understand, just because you're sending someone to mediation doesn't mean कि आपका role खत्म हो जाता है. You're still legally advising your client at the back when negotiations are happening कि what is good for them and what is not.
Okay.
उसी तरह arbitration में तो वकील चाहिए होता है. ठीक. So they need to know that these practices are not going to minimize their role. It's just going to enhance it.
Also, I think that if you as a law student or even as a lawyer, अगर आप mediation के courses लें, if you become, let's suppose, an accredited mediator, you are rather than minimizing, you're enhancing your job opportunities as well. Because apart from being a litigator, अब आप जो है mediator भी बन सकते हैं, and it is a role in which I believe you have a lot more creative freedom also, as you also earlier suggested. You have more room to possibly suggest solutions, or encourage your clients to try and resolve the dispute in ways जो court में शायद ना हो सके.
So mediation does provide a lot more uh, options when it comes to solutions for the parties. And not every case is suitable for court as well. Because sometimes parties need solutions जो कोर्ट आपको provide ही नहीं कर सकता. So it gets very creative. They negotiate contracts, and when the parties are negotiating, और जरूरी नहीं कि mediation सिर्फ parties ही कर रहे हो. The lawyers also can be the ones who are negotiating with the mediator
Yeah.
when the mediator is facilitating. So the parties then both, get what they want and they can live with it.
And I
So
think
in
the biggest advantage would also be privacy. There's a lot more privacy in mediation as opposed to taking your case to court, right? So, for certain category of cases or for certain people who are not comfortable with having their details or their lives, for that matter, shared in court, I think mediation would provide a much more suitable avenue. Don't you think?
a lot of, yes, you're absolutely correct. A lot of businesses, they don't want their business secrets or to get into, scrutiny once they go into court, and, their business secrets are out. You can get scrutiny from other governmental adare as well. They don't want that. Moreover, families don't want to go to the court. Families don't want character assassination,
Yeah.
especially when children are involved. Uh, so they are preferring mediation. They want, you know, not to have their dirty laundry in public. And it is confidential, it is much more dignified, and it is a less adversarial process. When the process is less adversarial, the parties also get more cool and calm. And they can, see what is best for them and, their business or their children. But once, you go into litigation, you're in an adversarial process, emotions are high, your problem solving, decision making, prefrontal cortex वो बंद हो जाती है. So it gets a lot of there's a lot of advantage in going into mediation.
One of my students actually, they inserted this question in and they wanted me to ask you this. So you hear about arbitration and then you hear about mediation. अभी तक इसका फर्क जो है लोगों को समझ नहीं आ रहा. What is the difference between an arbitrator and a mediator?
All right. So a mediations दो तरह की होती है. एक facilitative होती है और एक evaluative होती है. ठीक है. Evaluative mediation में जो mediator है वो suggestions दे सकता है for solutions. कि आप किस तरह अपना रिजॉल्व कर सकते हो. फैसिलिटेटिव में वो सजेशंस नहीं दे सकता. वो सिर्फ कह सकता है कि दिस इज हाउ यू नो helps them negotiate, facilitates the conversation, does not put himself in it. So that is a mediator. But a mediator is not a judge. He does not give any judgment. He does not do any fact finding. He does not ask for evidence. An arbitrator gives arbitral awards जो
For
बिल्कुल
judgment.
लेम. हाँ, बिल्कुल लेमैन लैंग्वेज में ये है कि आर्बिट्रेशन इज लाइक अ फैंसी कोर्ट इन अ कॉन्फ्रेंस रूम. द आर्बिट्रेटर इज
Okay.
गिविंग एन आर्बिट्रल अवार्ड. वो जजमेंट दे रहा है, वो पार्टीज के लॉयर्स को सुन रहा है, वो एविडेंस भी गैदर कर रहा है, वो फैक्ट चेकिंग भी कर रहा है. सो द आर्बिट्रेटर इज नॉट लाइक ए third neutral party who's facilitating it. He's actually giving a decision. So
That's the difference. Okay. So
yes.
basically, yes, according to this to the discussion that we were having, because जो main I think key point mediation का है is that it is less formal, less intimidating as well. तो उसके लिए, I mean, it would be a good idea for young lawyers and law students to actually learn mediation, to actually take courses in mediation, because it is going to facilitate their careers in the future, as you mentioned, because अब आगे आगे जाके the legal landscape seems to be a lot more favorable towards, sending cases for mediation as opposed to sending them for litigation straight away.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are absolutely correct. Like now, law students, even in order to stand out in their career, they need the different arsenal of options. They need to know mediation and not just, just study it theoretically. They need to know how it is done. They need to know arbitration as well, not just international, domestic as well. Because we get a lot of requests for arbitration courses as well, like practical ones. Most of our mediators who've done the course with us will message kar rahe hote hain, when is the arbitration course happening, when is the arbitration course
I
happening.
was one of
So
those people who asked you also.
yes. Yeah. So students right now, They have the advantage of University of London to learn it, right? However, everyone who's already a lawyer, they either go to their LLM and they learn it, and they're still only learning international arbitration,
Hmm.
not domestic one. So we are also going to be doing domestic arbitration with trainings because they are the most requested we have trainings.
Yeah.
Yeah. क्योंकि हम कराते अभी नहीं है, like we did do them a couple of years ago, but our trainers are so busy, arbitrators जो हमारे हैं, but we are also going to be
No,
redoing.
I'm really looking forward to when you announce those again. So definitely keep me on the mailing list for that. Thank you so much, Mehak. This was actually really wonderful because a lot of people who are watching, I'm sure they have learned a lot about how there's this additional course or a skill, so to speak, which now lawyers need to have. In the past, we learned about how अब lawyers के पास AI की knowledge होना बहुत ज़रूरी है because now that is something which is going to, be extremely relevant in the coming years. And उसके साथ साथ now mediation. इसकी भी नॉलेज होना बहुत ज़रूरी है बिकॉज अब हर जगह आई मीन लिटरली एनी वेयर दैट यू लुक you hear about ADR, alternative dispute resolution. Pehle it started off as just a chapter in our LSM courses, but
Yes.
now it seems to be playing out in real time and in Pakistani courts and the Pakistani legal system as well. So it was really nice having you here. And if you would like to say anything to our audience before we end the episode.
So the shift in ADR is not just in Pakistan, it is global right now. It's a global movement, and most countries, Turkey, UK, and now even UAE, they are, formalizing and they are going towards ADR. They want their centers, they want their people trained. So the shift is global right now. They have understood that, the traditional systems are not working or they're overburdened. So I would urge all law students who are, listening today to explore ADR and see, what you can learn. And lastly, Nida, thank you for having us.
Thank you
And
so
it was
much.
lovely.
Anytime.
And this conversation was much needed. Thank you so much for taking that initiative. And you were a lovely student, but we also learned a lot from you.
Thank you so
And
much.
yeah, and this was lovely. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, and we are looking forward to hosting you at the School of International Law because our students would love to take the foundation course as well. So, looking forward to that in the future. And
Looking forward.
thank you so
Coming.
much to everyone who was watching. I sincerely hope you all ended up learning something today. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them at info@sil.edu.pk and we would be happy to answer them. And of course, we wouldn't be answering them, Mehak will be answering them. But thank you so much and Allah Hafiz.